Well, I got to working here on this hood. I put it under a 4x4 or 4x12. And you can see this is getting pretty flat. I just took a hammer to it and sort of straightening that out. You can see down there at that end it's kind of high, so I'm just gonna keep pounding on this. It's probably bending both sides. It's actually being held on this left side by the block of wood, and so it's not sure what it's bending, but it's bending something straight. I'll keep pounding on it and see if I can get it flat right across there. Well, that's pretty straight. It looks like most of the bend went into the middle of this centerpiece here, which that's okay, but instead of it being twisted up, it brought it down. So it's pretty flat. It looks like it opened up the gap there on the left, but anything left here, I can take it with a small piece of wood and do some more pounding on it. I'm going to oil it up and put it on. Well, that's pretty good success. I got that thing pretty flat all the way across there. I don't know where. I can see some of the bend went into the middle of this, and looks like it needs a little more at that end, but I got it straight in the middle, and I got about 3/8 of an inch gap on both sides of this. So the hood is straight. I got the back clamps holding it down. It looks like I'm assuming this holds the middle, so that probably needs to go over just a little. It looks pretty good here. I got like 1/4 inch gap, 3/8 gap here, so probably just looks like that did it right there. So what I'm going to do is clamp it down here onto the grill shell on both sides. If I can get a clamp in there, I think I can. And that'll tell me where the angle of the grill shell is, left to right. I'm not really too sure about the up and down. The doors are pretty good. I guess I could kind of stretch a piece of tape across there, but just looking from the side, yeah, they look pretty good. I'm not going to sweat that a whole lot about this hood being up and down too much. It's good enough for the eye. So what I'm going to do is clamp this hood on, and that'll hold this nose piece where it's supposed to go, and then I'll see how close their bolt holes are down here that they've made, and I'll try to bolt that on and tighten it up, and that should give me the first straightening of this nose piece. Yeah, that looked pretty good. That black stuff up through there is a WD-40 I scored it in that hinge. It come down real nice. So it was the right idea. I could have welded this on the inside. I didn't realize it at the time. But I think what I'm going to do is just kind of grind that weld off a little bit and polish it. It'll look like it. Probably still be able to tell it was welded, but it'll be good enough. So let's get this thing clamped straight. Alright, got like a 1/4 of an inch here, maybe 3/8 at the top. Might be a little bit high. I got a 1/4 inch even all the way around here. And I got a 1/4 of an inch even all the way around here. Minus some tweaking in the fender, the hood. And this is about 3/8 and a 1/4, so it's right in the happy middle of everything. And I determined, from the holes that the center of this hood pin is right to the side, so this is centered. I've got this clamp now. I've got one good clamp here, big one, and I got another one over there. You can barely see it, it's a little one. But this is clamped the grille onto the hood. As far as my lights go up and down, this is good. Top of this hole's right at the top of that. This one's a little high, the other one's right about the same. It might be a little bit lower, but I think that hood's got to come down some. Anyway, there's one bolt left in this mount here. You can see it's kind of crooked. It's going in at an angle. I took this one out. It don't look like these brackets are terribly straight. They look like they're pretty straight to the truck, but not straight to the fender. Looks like the fender's going in a little bit. Might be just the way this thing is. So I'll get a couple more clamps and I'm gonna clamp this frame here to this welded support. I have no idea how close any of these holes are. I would imagine they're pretty close. Yeah, well, not really. It looks like they're pretty close to an old mark. I don't know if I made that mark or somebody else made that mark. But I'll get it clamped onto that bracket, and I think that hole there is not going to work out. I will probably throw a level across here and see how close I am to being level. But first thing is to get this all clamped and get ready to bore me some holes in it. I'll just bore little ones for now and use small bolts so it'll hold it in one place. Well, that's in and solid. I drilled a 7/16 hole right there in the bracket, and I enlarged that other 1/2 inch bolt, and that bottom one down there was good. The top one I re-drilled. You can see maybe they're marking there. I'm 3/8 of an inch away from the mark, but the hood's straight all the way around, and it's centered, so that means that best as I can, this grill is now straight with the cab. So now I can take my clamps off of here and see what I can do about putting these grill inserts in here. I'm gonna have to send those headers back, get some more. Anyway, that's plenty good. I think I might just pull that fender up there, but I think it needs a hole in the fender to clear that bolt. And these little things here that bolt the fender on, you know, they're coming out well past the edge. I don't know what they call them, welded in nut or something. Whether I'll drill those out and just put a bolt right through it. This one here is kind of holding the fender out, or the grill out. They didn't take it off, they just ground it and then drilled a hole right next to it, so that's not very good. But next thing I do is get that fender up there where it needs to go and make sure that it's clearing everything where it should here. Clamp it in and then bore one hole in it up here in the front somewhere, so that'll keep the fender where it's supposed to go. And then I can work on making sure it's clearing the hood and doing whatever it's supposed to do here. Right now it kind of looks bad. I might just put that fender back up there and clamp it and see what it looks like. Well, I got a 1.5 finger gap there, and it goes down to nothing back there. I can't raise this fender up. I can raise it up to right here. I'll loosen it up here, but that's not gonna cure my gap. You can see, even if it's up there, I still got a inch gap in there. So, and if I get it up there, then this is not good. It needs to be right there, and that's where the fender's got to go. Might be part of this hood. Could come down a little in the front. It could be because it's sort of warped and bent a little, but it's not going to give it a lot. I'm just going to have to deal with the gap there. I don't know what it's going to look like on the other side. I would imagine it'd be just the same. But my main deal here right now is trying to see if I can get this radiator and these two grill pieces in here. It's going to be enough of a problem as it is. Well, the radiator went in. It's a pretty tight fit. I'm going to have to use some shorter bolts there. And it looked like it kind of hit the steering box a little. I can probably put some rubbers under it, raise it up a little bit. The hoses are right. I can get to the radiator cap pretty easy. So it looks like the little bracket will work out for that. And I'm sure I have to take that radiator out of there to get these in, but wasn't that big a deal. It's got quite a few little nicks and dents in it where they've played with it before. I'll put a few more in it before it's in. Well, I got the grill in here, and it's got a bracket that comes down inside, and supposed to mount to this fender hole right here, I think. It's interfering with this thing. So I'm going to have to cut this bracket off down here somewhere. And it looks like it's going to hit this this cross brace right here behind the this thing. This can stay because I can change this angle bracket down here. But it's got to go back 2 inches, and there's no way that this inside brace for the grill, there's no way it's going to go back there. I'll have to cut that whole thing out, or you know, at least an inch of it, and that's right where it's all welded together. I've got it a bolt in it here. It's centered up and down, but it's got to go back 2 inches. Yeah, it'll work out okay here on top, but you can see better there what's happening. You know, I need to cut this up in here somewhere. I don't know if this phone is working or not, but I need to cut this above this 1 inch square and below it. So I need to take out 2 fins basically, so this thing will slide back. That's what'll happen if I cut this piece out of here. Cut it on both sides. I'll still be good for the fender geometry. Because it won't be going side to side, and I can actually just bend that bracket. I wouldn't even have to cut it. I could bend that bracket flat so it would get it out of the way, and then figure out another mount hole down here for it. I think that's the best way to go. I really don't think I can cut this up. If it was someplace else, like up here or anywhere in there,
we would be alright, but it's not. It's right in the corner where everything is all welded. So that's what I got to do. And then I'll have to. I really didn't like the way this radiator bracket was in here anyway. So that's what I got to do in order to get this grill on and matching where it's supposed to go. I need to get rid of that. It would be really easy actually to come up from here. I don't need a bracket all the way out there to there. You know, I could have 2 brackets coming up on stands, you know, 6 or 8 inches apart, just enough to hit the middle of it, and it'd be right onto here. So that's welded onto the frame. I think that's good enough. Don't really need this bracket where it's at. It's holding side to side, but there's really nothing up there to hold. The bottom one is good enough on the frame. I might figure out, once I get this thing pulled back here 2 inches, I'm not really going to have a lot of room, but I might have some right down here in the bottom. I don't know if that'll do me any good, but anyway, I got to pull this off of here and cut this out, make those brackets clear this support, go on from there. It's a thing with fabricating, you know, you really don't want to weld everything in real heavy. I can know what they did. They took the grill out, and then they made something they thought would have been real good there. But what killed them was that cross piece there, so I just got to cut it out. Anyway, enough for today. Get my tools cleaned up. Well, I cut this bracket off here, ground it. You can see this weld. It's just I just tapped it with a hammer, and these brackets just snapped off. Probably a good thing, but the brackets themselves seem to be pretty good. I need to get a welder out here and weld this a lot stronger. Yeah, even where it's welded onto the frame is not very good. So I got to re-weld this whole thing here. That's fine. I think it's plenty strong enough to mount my grill. So now I've got this cut where the grill getting hot and cold again. So the grill will go in. I can modify the bottom brackets on these 2 nose pieces, put a couple bolts in them, and try to see what I gotta do for the brackets to get it into this this nose holder here. Press on. By the way, unless you like going crazy looking for nuts and bolts. These guys here, bolts and nuts. This whole set of grade 8 stuff was like 60 bucks. So I got from 1/2 inch all the way up to 1.5 inches of 3 different sizes, most common sizes, all the nuts. That's the way to do it. They look nice. And if you try to buy them one at a time, they're super expensive. But I got this grill laid out here. I'm going to put 2 small nuts in it, 1 on each side. Looks like they've cut this bracket off here and ground it down. That's probably something that went onto the original Dodge frame. I may figure out some way of bracing this a little better later. Probably just holding it there in the sheet metal on the bottom is not a good idea. This brace should go down. That center brace ought to be somehow go to the frame, but I got to get it on first. Well, the grill's all in there and bolted up. These little brackets here for the grill, they're flush on the inside, and I think the way that they got this thing designed is that the grill shell mounts on the outside of this bracket, or I'm sorry, it mounts on the inside. So this plate has got to go in here between this bracket and the grill shell. I don't really like that, but kind of has to be that way because the fender is bolting right onto it flush. You can see here that the fender's on the outside. Yeah, they didn't do a very good job on this at all. It's got an angle on it. Yeah, this got an angle on it too. Maybe that's the way they had to do it to clear the fender. I may redo all of this. I'm hoping that I don't have to. But I've still got my 2 good holes that I drilled in here. And this one's still got 2 good holes for the fender as well. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. One way to do it would be to bolt this all together, get it straight, and then cut these braces right here. And weld it on again. Well, we'll see. I might have to bend that bottom bracket on that grill shell, but it's all together. I put some good grade 8 bolts up in there. I've got 2 in the top, 2 near the bottom, and I've got 1 in the top and the bottom of the grill, the centerpiece. So that should be all holding real good. Just
get it up here and see if I can get a few bolts in. Well, I got it back on. I was able to just bend that bottom bracket, but that bracket in the bottom and this one up here on top are what hold that grill in place. The other thing, the grill, you can see maybe right there, it's coming straight up here, so there's no way I can get a nut back in here for this hole I drilled. So I clamped it down here on the bottom. So it looks like I need 2 bolts in the bottom, and I think what I can do is drill this again and tap it, so I can I'll use a little bigger bolt. This is a 7/16. It's kind of pressured into it right now. It kind of threaded itself a little, but that's holding it a little bit. Of course, you know, a little rattling, it'll fall out. So I've got the hood back on where it should be. If I try to put anything back here on this, I can't get a nut on it. So the only way I can put something in this area is to drill it and tap it, and I'll try to sort out whatever's going on down here with the bolt holes that they drilled. I can see right now that one is not right, it's off. Anyway, it's on, and because the bolts are in the same holes that I drilled and marked, I know it's straight. Now my, I guess, next thing is somehow I've got to make something. I don't know if this was a standoff that bolted onto the, see, this one's, it's a long ways bent. They might just go right there. In fact, it kind of did. They were probably bent. So I'll throw a couple bolts in here. Yeah, I'm real close to that. Close enough to get a bolt in it. So that solves the top brackets. And the bottom down there, I bent that, I don't know if you can see, but I bent that bracket out of the way to get past the that big bracket they welded in. Same thing on this side, but it kind of looks like I could just get in there and from the bottom kind of bend that around a little flatter and drill a hole and put one bolt into that, and that should make that pretty tight, and it's almost up against the edge of the grill. Grill's a little wiggly right now because I took that center brace out, so I'll have to put something back in it. But anyway, the grill's back on, and I got all my guts in it this time, and they're all bolted down. So I think next I'm gonna those big old headlight holes look ugly. I might put the headlights on it just for the fun of it. But I'm gonna bolt up the top of this grill here, and I've got two big brackets right here, and I have a feeling that there was a bar that went across here to hold that radiator. So I'll put something like that in it. It's kind of useless to try to hold it all from the bottom. There's just too much weight, especially when you consider the hood and everything. And I can put a threaded rod in here on the end, clevis or something, and that way I can tilt this hood a little bit or lean it back and forth. But it looks pretty good, straight. I might have moved it a little with cutting that center brace out, but I don't think so. If I did, it's side to side. Anyway, I'll continue mocking this up a little bit. Got me a set of shorty headers coming. I don't know if they're going to work. Look like they come out right between the two exhaust and spark plugs there. I might have to do something there to make them clear. I can't really do a whole lot to that. I could cut a piece out. And this big bracket down here, I think that was for the old transmission. I don't really need it. I can get rid of all of that. So hopefully I'll get some exhaust that'll clear. And put starter in it. I guess now would be to kind of set that radiator in there and see what I can do about making a mount for it. And both of the headlights are on, and I got this good and tight. I got the bracket to the top. The bottom's still loose. I think I'm not going to mess with that until I can roll it around. I can get it over there and jack it up and crawl under it. I kind of going to have to get the steering fixed, but the cowl is not on. What I determined is I need to have that rod in there to set the top of this first, and then I can get it get the top exactly in the right spot, and then I can work on finalizing where this bottom piece is. It's still kind of wiggling around. I don't really have it that tight. I just got it clamped, and these two bolts are in it pretty loose, but it's pretty straight. Looks all right. Kind of coming along. So I guess what's up next, I'll probably have to, well, before I can finish that that hood mount there, I'm going to have to get those top braces in. I think I'll just
get some rod, and I'm not really worried about threaded rod. I just weld a couple bolts on it and thread it. I may have to make a bracket up there in the top for that. I'm going to have plenty of room there for the radiator. They had it exactly centered and it was hitting the steering box, but there's no reason for that radiator to be right in the middle. I can move it over 1/2 inch and clear all that stuff. So making a radiator mount is not going to be that big a deal, and I am going to have to weld up all that stuff. I've got my welder over in the shop. I could drag it out here, but I don't really have a 220 plug there. It's kind of far away, so I could probably MIG weld it. Anyway, I'm kind of done here without any more parts. It'll have to come apart one more time, at least once more. But I got all of the inside of the grill. Looks like it had some kind of a fancy emblem or something up here, and something down there in the bottom. I think that was maybe a crank hole. Well, I see what I can find. It would be nice to get the emblem for it. I paid almost $100 for a new hinge and I didn't need it. Well, I thought it did, but it'll have a mirror mount on it, and this one looks like it's been broke off, so I think I'll be good to go there. I need a little body work here. I might put a couple patches in here in this rust. I got a big dent here I gotta knock out. Of course, the fenders are all wrinkled. I got quite a bit of work on it. Not to mention the floorboards and the bed and gas tank and lines and brake lines, and I got a wiring kit for it. I don't know what I'm going to do about this steering column here. It's an awful big ugly one. It does have a key lock in it, but I think I'm going to get a Model A type just to call them. I can get one of them for $100. I got a lot of wheels around here I can put on it, and I'll have to do something about a seat before I can really get the steering set up. We'll see. I think my buddy over here has probably got a bunch of seats. I'll go take a look. I'm kind of tired of messing with it, and I don't really want to work on that, welding that Mustang floor pan in, so I thought I'd work on a few of these dents that are in the fender. I'll just use a couple hammers and a dolly, see what I can do about straightening this out. Well, that's quite a bit better. I got a lot of the kink out of it. This bottom edge is pretty straight. My body hammer wouldn't do nothing. There's a 2-pound one there, and it's kind of straightened it. I got quite a bit more work to do here on this edge, but it's a lot better than it was. Just a long ways to go.